What if, after spending years chasing one of the biggest honors in the music industry, BTS suddenly decided they no longer wanted to be part of the race at all? Imagine reaching the moment when your chances of winning seem stronger than ever, millions of fans supporting you, global media predicting your breakthrough, and the music world watching your every move, only to voluntarily step away before the competition even begins. That is exactly the question shaking the global music community today. BTS, the group that spent years making history, breaking barriers, and repeatedly standing at the doorstep of Grammy glory, has unexpectedly announced that they will not submit their music for Grammy consideration this year. The announcement was short. It was calm, but its impact was enormous. Within minutes, social media exploded. Armies around the world began asking the same question: why now? Why would BTS walk away from something they had fought so hard to reach? And perhaps the biggest mystery is this: did they simply lose interest in the Grammys, or are they trying to send a message much bigger than any trophy could ever represent? For years, the relationship between BTS and the Grammy Awards has been one of the most fascinating stories in modern music. Few artists have transformed the global music industry the way BTS has. They shattered streaming records, sold out stadiums across multiple continents, dominated international charts, influenced fashion and culture, and introduced millions of people to Korean music and language. Yet, despite all of those achievements, one thing always seemed just out of reach: a Grammy victory. Every nomination became a historic milestone, but every ceremony also ended with the same feeling of unfinished business. Fans celebrated the recognition, but they also wondered why one of the most successful groups in the world continued to leave empty-handed. As the years passed, the Grammy conversation became about far more than simply winning an award. For countless fans, it represented something much deeper. A Grammy victory would have symbolized recognition that music created outside the traditional Western industry could stand equally among the world's biggest artists. BTS had already proven themselves through numbers that few musicians in history could match, but many believed a Grammy would finally erase the invisible wall separating global success from institutional recognition. Every new BTS comeback sparked another familiar question: could this finally be the year? Then something unexpected happened. Instead of announcing another Grammy campaign, all 7 members RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook shared essentially the same message. They would not submit their work for Grammy consideration this year. There was no dramatic press conference, no criticism directed at the Recording Academy, no emotional farewell, just one collective decision that instantly shifted the entire conversation. Suddenly, people were no longer asking whether BTS would finally win a Grammy. Instead, everyone began asking why they had decided not to compete at all. What made the announcement even more surprising was its timing. BTS has returned with incredible momentum. Their activities have once again placed them at the center of global entertainment. Industry observers had already begun discussing the possibility that this could become one of BTS's strongest Grammy seasons yet. Many believed their chances were better than ever before. Walking away at precisely that moment felt almost impossible to understand. It was like an athlete deciding not to compete just as they reached the peak of their career. Then fans noticed one sentence. Among the statements shared by the members, one particular message immediately became the center of discussion. BTS expressed the hope that music would not be distinguished by region or language, but instead be listened to and loved simply as music. At first glance, the statement sounded beautifully simple. Music is universal. Music connects people regardless of where they come from. But because of everything happening around the Grammys at the same time, many fans began wondering whether there might be a deeper meaning behind those carefully chosen words. The timing raised even more questions because the Recording Academy had recently introduced a brand new Grammy category focused on Asian pop music. On paper, the decision appeared to be an important step forward. Asian music, especially K-pop, has become one of the most influential cultural forces in the world. Artists from South Korea, Japan, China, and other parts of Asia now dominate streaming platforms, headline stadium tours, and attract enormous international audiences. A dedicated category could be interpreted as long overdue recognition of that extraordinary growth. But not everyone viewed it the same way. Some observers wondered whether creating a separate category for Asian pop might unintentionally reinforce the idea that Asian artists belong in their own section, rather than competing equally in the major global categories. Was this meaningful inclusion or another form of separation? The debate quickly spread across social media, and because BTS's announcement happened almost simultaneously, many people naturally connected the two events. However, it is important to separate confirmed facts from speculation. BTS has not publicly stated that the new Grammy category is the reason they chose not to submit their music. The members never said they were rejecting that category, nor did they criticize the Recording Academy directly. Those interpretations come from fans and commentators trying to understand the timing. The only confirmed statement from BTS was their wish for music to be appreciated beyond language and geographical boundaries. Everything beyond that remains open to interpretation. That uncertainty is exactly why the discussion has become so fascinating. Sometimes, a few carefully chosen words create far more conversation than a long explanation ever could. Was BTS expressing a broader philosophy about music? Were they suggesting that art should never be divided by nationality? Or was their statement completely unrelated to the Grammy changes? At this moment, nobody outside the group knows for certain. Perhaps the answer is much simpler than many people expect. After all, BTS has already accomplished what countless artists only dream of achieving. They have performed in front of millions. They have sold out stadiums across continents. They have broken records once considered untouchable. They have influenced fashion, language, education, tourism, and even international cultural diplomacy. Their music has crossed borders without abandoning its identity. Instead of changing themselves to fit the world gradually embraced them exactly as they were. That journey itself reflects the message BTS shared. Music does not always need translation to create emotion. Millions of listeners who do not speak Korean still sing BTS songs word for word. Fans learned new languages, explored Korean culture, and built communities that stretch across every continent. BTS proved that emotional connection can exist long before complete understanding. The success challenged one of the oldest assumptions in global entertainment, that English must always be the primary language of worldwide pop music. Because of that history, their latest decision feels larger than one award show. It forces the music industry to confront uncomfortable questions. In an era where listeners can instantly discover artists from Seoul, Tokyo, Mumbai, Sao Paulo, London, or anywhere else with a single tap, should music still be categorized primarily by geography? Should artists compete based on where they come from or simply on the quality of their work? There are compelling arguments on both sides. Dedicated regional categories may create valuable opportunities for artists who have historically been overlooked. At the same time, others worry that separate categories could unintentionally create invisible boundaries that global music has already begun to erase.